I, 24 male, have recently celebrated my birthday with a few of my friends, including the girlfriends of a good mate. I will call her Jessica, a fake name. To be clear, from past interactions with her, I already have an unfavorable opinion of her, so I'm probably biased. Jessica is an artist, making money with a variety of handmade things. For my birthday, she gave me a small book of something she had written and illustrated herself. I briefly skimmed through it right after opening the present, and it turns out it was a story about my childhood. To explain, I had a pretty bad childhood, mother gone, father drinking too much. My grandma mostly raised me, and she was not exactly a wonderful person, but miles better than my dad. As a result, I still have quite a few scars, both physically and mentally. It is a sore thing, and something I only talk about with my closest friends. The book depicted an almost Disney-like story. The mother runs away, but comes back out of love for her child. Dad drinks, but realizes that he has a problem, becomes clean and a loving parent. My grandmother was depicted as a godmother who teaches the boy about wishing upon a star, and everything will be better. She turned my childhood into a fairy tale story, in which everything turns into a loving, happy family. Irritated, I asked Jessica what the deal with the book was, why she would write it like that. She answered, so that you can replace your childhood with a better one. Just look at the book, and you can reminisce about a happier past. That honestly made me mad. A book does not erase my past. It does not make up for what happened or remove my scars and issues. It does not bring back a family. It is insulting to think some make-believe can overwrite what I experienced. I told her that and gave her the book back. Unfortunately, the rest of the evening was cut short, as the mood had turned sour. I was later contacted by Jessica's boyfriend that she was upset that I rejected her gift and that she meant well. The two other friends that were present, however, agreed with me, especially Mike, who also had an unpleasant conflict with Jessica in which she meant well. Not the idiot. This is an incredibly insensitive and awful gift. It was a very inconsiderate thing to do from here, especially since you and she don't seem to be close at all. I'm sorry you had to go through that. It doesn't matter that she meant well. She could cause someone severe mental distress pulling something like that. Not the idiot. People like Jessica are trying to be nice, trying to empathize, but it comes from a place of ignorance. Either they don't understand your situation or think what works for them will work for you. Our past isn't something to be rewritten, and it isn't something we can pretend away. What she saw as childlike make-believe was deeply insulting. Turning those who did you wrong into heroes of the story is not something anyone would want to see. I don't think what Jessica did was nice. Jessica doesn't like OP's past. It's harsh, it's unpleasant. It makes her uncomfortable, so she changed it. She just didn't discount OP's feelings or personal experiences. She tried to replace them with one she found less distasteful. I think Jessica sees herself as the main character. You are the idiot. I honestly do think Jessica's intentions were good here. I think it's tough for a person who hasn't experienced bad childhood and alienation to understand it. I think Jessica's intentions were kind here, not malicious. In your place, I would have taken the book, said thank you, thrown it in the back of my closet for a while, and then eventually chucked it. Unfortunately, sometimes people just don't get it, which this is one of those times. Oh, so Jessica heard about your childhood from her boyfriend and did a little book for you so you could have a new past and wouldn't have to think about bad things anymore? Yeah, not the idiot. It's hard not to take down such earnest people who want to be a savior, have absolutely no clue, but still go ahead anyway and think everything will be happy kitty puppy rainbow land. She tries, doesn't she? So my boyfriend and I live together in a fairly large rented house, even though neither wants children. The house has 4 decently sized bedrooms, one of which is our bedroom, while one is an office. The other 2 are empty. Even though we don't have kids, we are avid pet lovers, and we own a Rottweiler, a bulldog, and an old cat. Yesterday, my brother phoned me to watch his children, since he had to go to the hospital due to his wife breaking her leg. Around 5 minutes later, he turns up at my house with the kids. I was the only one available at the time, so my brother dropped his little children off at my house. Unfortunately, this arrangement wasn't suitable for us, since we'd made plans to drop our dogs off at a doggy spa while we went to the mall. So I called my friend, who agreed to look after the kids. I compensated her monetarily, even though she told me there was no need to. My brother has never met this friend, but I'd never leave any child in a dangerous situation. While we were at the mall, my brother called me to ask me where we were. I told him that his kids were at my friend's house. He was furious with me and hung up on the phone soon after. Around 30 minutes later, my friend called to say my brother had picked the kids up and that he was irate. My brother has tried to call me since, but I haven't picked up the phone since I know he likely only wants to argue with me. Today my dad called me to ask me why I'd chosen my dumb dogs over my nephew and niece, which irritated me. I told my dad that while I feel sorry for his wife, it isn't my responsibility to drop everything and look after children that aren't even mine. I also told him that if he's going to insult my family, he shouldn't expect to walk me down the aisle. I know my choice of words could have been kinder. However, I don't think it's fair to impose the responsibility of looking after kids on me when I've decided not to have any. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Sorry your sister-in-law didn't plan to break her leg around your schedule. I don't like kids. I don't like watching kids. But if I was the only person available to watch them because of a medical emergency, you bet your bippity I would. And pawning your brother's kids off to someone he's never met before? Big nope. I'd get your reaction if he and his wife wanted a spur-of-the-moment date night. But you've told your whole family that you care more for the mall than you do for them during their time of need. Nice. You are the idiot. You don't leave children that aren't yours with someone who the parent doesn't even know. You accepted responsibility for these children and then acted in a most irresponsible manner. Somehow I think you, your boyfriend, and your doggies would have survived not going to the mall and doggy spa. Can you imagine how scary and confusing it was for the children? First being rushed to your house because their mother was hurt, and then having you dump them with a stranger. If I were your brother, I would be going no contact with you, permanently. Honestly, doesn't matter, family or not. When stuff goes sideways, good people step up. I remember more than one occasion where my mom would help a total stranger. For example, some lady at the store fell and needed to go to the hospital, and my mom sat on a bench outside the store with the woman's elderly mom until another family member could come to get her. Good people step up. What does the size of your house have to do with watching your niece and nephew for a couple of hours? It's not like he asked you to take them in forever. It was a medical emergency. I thought they were babies, but they are 9 and 7. You can actually take them to the mall without any inconvenience to you. Just let them walk or run in front of you. They're independent kids, and you don't have to be a helicopter aunt while they're with you. You're selfish and entitled. I was in a terrible marriage. I got married to a 21-year-old right out of high school. I didn't know how I was going to get out. I had no money, no career, and 2 young children to care for. My brother took me in. He paid for college and his wife looked after my children when I worked my first job. I owe a lot to them. I have built a life for myself, and without their sacrifice, I would have been adrift in life or worse. My elder daughter is trans. She came out 6 months ago. It has been a hard adjustment for all of us, but she's thriving. Her grades are better. She's a happy teenager right now. My brother disapproves. He has been criticizing me for letting my child indulge in delusions. He gets upset when he sees her dressed in feminine clothes. She doesn't come out of her room when he visits. He isn't outright cruel, but it is evident that he disapproves of her, hurting her. She used to look up to him. I have tried to talk to him about it, but he doesn't listen to me. He has always been stubborn to a fault. I told him not to come to my house if he wasn't going to treat her respectfully. He got upset and he's not talking to me. My mother is furious with me. She thinks I'm ungrateful. He has done a lot for me. She thinks I should have been firm, but I shouldn't have kicked him out of my house. I feel like I'm in a terrible position. I feel incredibly ungrateful for kicking out my brother who saved us. It would have taken me years to get out of the marriage. I know I am doing the right thing, but it feels all wrong and horrid to kick my brother out when he's done so much for us. Not the idiot. Helping you out earlier in life does not give your brother a lifetime pass of being an idiot. Good for you for standing up for your daughter. Don't give an inch unless he's willing to change his ways. This is the hill to die on. To add to it, I would discuss why his behavior is so toxic to his niece with the brother. Maybe he's too much of a bigot to care, but hopefully there is someone in there who doesn't want to see his niece experience the depression and hurt that so many other trans people face. Not the idiot. You're protecting your daughter, who is going through a lot right now, so good for you. If he can't be civil in your home to the point your daughter won't even leave her room, then he shouldn't come over. You have to protect your family. And stuff what your mom says. Would she want people doing the same about her? I doubt it. I assume when you accepted your brother's offer of help, it didn't come with terms like, if I help you, I get free reign to disrespect your children and berate you for being an accepting, loving, and tolerant mother. No, I didn't think so. Your children come first. Their happiness is far more important than his bigoted feelings. You are not the idiot. It's your daughter's home, not his, and her home should feel like a safe space. If he's threatening that safe space, he must go. End of story. My husband's Justin, 34. Family is big. His brothers and sisters have kids, and they're all sweet and vibrant. When I visit my in-laws, my favorite part is playing with the kids. I'm 32, by the way. It might be a bit embarrassing, but I'm a kid at heart. And spending time with them. Unfortunately, Justin and I can't have kids due to infertility on my part, which is very devastating for us. But we're blessed we have kids in the family to love on and spend time with. Now, generally, I'm on good terms with my mother-in-law, but she always brings up my inability to have kids. And so far, she's excluded Justin and me from kid-based events. For example, recently, she was gathering pics from her children and grandchildren to make a big family photo album. The thing is, she didn't ask Justin or me for any photos. I offered her our photos once, and she said something like, maybe later, I'll let you know before I get done, but she never let me know. This week she surprised us by announcing that her family photo album was complete. She had a page with pictures for each of her children and their families. Everyone took turns to look at the album, but once my brother-in-law handed it to Justin, Justin looked through it quickly, then closed it and gave it back to mother-in-law. I was confused, and Justin just got upset but quiet. So I asked mother-in-law to give me the album to look at mine and Justin's pictures, but she said, sorry, there aren't any photos of you two in there. I was dumbfounded. I asked why, and she said, since we don't have kids or haven't started a family yet, then we didn't qualify to be in the family photo album. I told her just because we don't have kids doesn't mean we weren't family to her, and that before she considers non-existent grandkids family, she should first consider Justin and me family. She just shrugged, saying no grandchildren, no part in the photo album, no need to argue, since no one can force her to do it. I called her cruel for excluding us. Justin told me to take it easy, but I had an argument with her and walked out after she told me she didn't owe me her time and effort to include me in the album. We went home feeling awful. Justin said I shouldn't have called his mom cruel, nor should I demand anything from her. I asked if he was okay with what she did. He said no, but it didn't improve the situation by insulting his mom in her home and acting entitled. Did I overreact? Not the idiot. Your fertility business is no one's business but yours and your husband. But in your shoes, the no grandkids, no photo album inclusion would have made me lose my crap. I would have said something along the lines of, I can't have kids, so thanks for making me feel like we're not worthy of being in this family album because I'm in the percentage of women who can't conceive. OP, ask your husband where he dropped his spine. His mother made it clear that you aren't considered part of the family if you don't have children. I'd be cutting ties with everyone siding with her. Now you know how she feels about you, and you can act accordingly. It would be best if you spent more time with people who consider you family. Not the idiot, but you realize your reaction was exactly what mother-in-law was fishing for, right? She was provoking you deliberately. She could have not invited you guys to look at the album, but she did in front of everyone else. It was her way of shaming you for your infertility and shaming her son for marrying a woman who has infertility. Also, your husband is an idiot for not standing up for you and himself and then gaslighting you into feeling guilty for understandably losing your cool. This person is not a winner. I don't know, but maybe it's not a bad thing you don't have kids with this guy. Totally. I propose she's trying to create instability in your marriage. Since the infertility is on the part of OP, mother-in-law might be pushing for divorce so her son can find a woman that can give him kids. OP, yes, it's her photo album, and she can put whatever she wants in there. But her message with this stunt sucks, and I applaud you for letting her know. It was cruel, and I'm sorry that this happened to you. As an aside, I would venture a guess that this stunt she has pulled, her preoccupation with you not having kids, is more about her than it is you. There are simply some women who take childless women and couples as an affront to their entire identity. A marriage that thrives and derives meaning and purpose from the love of two people alone, without kids, isn't always fathomable to them. I, 30 male, am the father to 2 children, my young son and my daughter, a toddler. I've worked hard to bring up my kids since it has involved juggling my career, bills, rent, and mortgage payments, as well as all the other expenses that come with being an adult, all while raising my children. It hasn't been easy, so I am proud that I have 2 happy, healthy children. My brother is 23 and has said that having children isn't a priority in his life, and if it happens, it happens. His reason for this is that he wants to be able to travel, enjoy his career, and have the options to do things spontaneously, which I don't have a problem with. He also has an English bulldog puppy, which he got from a breeder, something that I disagree with, but I can't tell him how to live his life. Which brings me to the issue. My brother constantly jokes about how he and his boyfriend are parents to their dog, despite not having any kids. Their friends even go as far as to send them dog dad cards on Father's Day. After raising my children, I find it rude to refer to himself as a dad when owning a dog isn't nearly as hard as raising 2 children. I brought this up to him, and he defended himself by saying that calling himself a dog dad isn't hurting anyone. I told him that this isn't the case, since there are people who can't have children, poor people who struggle to raise children, etc., who will likely be very hurt by his and his partner's comments. They both haven't spoken to me since. Am I missing something? I know I could have made my point less directly, but surely calling yourself a dog parent isn't something that should be normalized. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. You sound bitter. If parenting is so hard, then think harder about having kids next time. Other people choosing to see their pets as children isn't a threat to you. It's not a competition. If you find it rude that someone wants to call themselves whatever they want because it interrupts your martyr complex, the problem is you. Also, fun fact, plenty of human parents are okay with other people calling themselves dog parents. Not everyone is this insecure or competitive about misery. You are the idiot. First, it isn't hurting anyone. Him not calling himself a dog dad is not going to make infertility less of an issue for people dealing with that. Do you hide your kids not to hurt people who can't have them? No, because that would be beyond stupid. Also, it sounds like you are gatekeeping the word dad. People can call themselves whatever they want and view their pets as an important part of their family. We get it. You have kids and you're doing very well. Your brother loves his dog, and it is a responsibility. You think it's not the same thing, and maybe one day, if he has kids, he will change his mind about things. But right now, he thinks of his dog as his child. Who are you to tell him otherwise? Get over yourself. There are worse things in the world than your brother calling himself a dog dad. So I advise you to go and find a real problem.